Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post is going to discuss the mitzvah of Sefiras Haomer and the therapeutic process. So last week, for the beginning of Pesach, we discussed the message of talk therapy and how Pesach teaches us how the power of words and how psychotherapy and the use of words can help a person to recover from traumatic experiences and to advance and grow. So for this week, I'd like to focus, as a continuation, to focus on the therapeutic process itself. So the Sefer Chinuch discusses the significance of the mitzvah of Sefiras Haomer, and he says that we count from Pesach to Shavuos. And this is because the purpose of Pesach was to leave Mitzrayim and to receive the Torah. So this suggests that Pesach is actually the preliminary stage, building up to the main focus and the main purpose, which is to receive the Torah. And therefore we count from Pesach to Shavuos. And the Mefarshim explain, because of this, that actually Sefiras Haomer creates a link between the two Chagim, and Pesach and Shavuos are not necessarily two separate Chagim. They are actually one long extended Chag, starting at Pesach and finishing at Shavuos. And the in-between period of Sefiras Haomer is like a Chol HaMoed. It's also as if it's an extended period of time. It's a whole one long process. And this can be related to the therapeutic process, because therapy can be long. It can be a long process, and it can be difficult to commit to this process. It can be off-putting, and sometimes we don't see the end goal, the end result, or results becoming apparent straight away. And this can be off-putting. So we need to see the process, the therapeutic process, as being a long period of time. Yet in this process there are preliminary stages, intermediary goals, building up to the final goals that we want to achieve at the end of the therapeutic process. And we need to be prepared to commit to this process, to commit to and put in the effort in order to reach the final goal. So how do we do this? Well, first of all is to recognize that the process can be off-putting and it can be difficult, and we need to recognize and set for ourselves goals and to appreciate the intermediary goals when we achieve them. We need to appreciate Pesach for what it is and appreciate how this builds up to Shavuos. And the Sefer Chinuch discusses as well this idea of the Sefiras Haomer and the counting in between these two Chagim. And he asks the famous question, which is why we count upwards from 1 to 49 rather than the more logical process, which is counting downwards from 49 to 1, which is what a person would normally do when they're building up anticipation and excitement for something, getting closer and closer. So he says, why do we count from 1? And the Sefer Chinuch says that if we started from 49, it would be off-putting. It would be, when we see these large numbers, 49, 48, 47, it gives an impression that we've got a long way to go. And it's a long process, and this can be intimidating, and a person might not commit to this process. Whereas if we start from 1 and we build up 2, 3, 4, a person is more likely to commit to this process, building on the success of one day on top of another on top of another. So have a great Shabbos, Chag Sameach, and keep well.